Okay, so we're going to be creating a landscape. Our landscape is going to be, ancient landscape because we're going to add dinosaur stamps into it after we finish our landscape. So our first step is to think about what might be on the land. Now, during the time of the dinosaurs, they probably have some volcanoes. So I'm going to start to create a volcano. So I'm going to make a diagonal line. I'm going to make another diagonal line on the other side. Now, I can make it straight or I can make it a little bit wavy because it's a volcano. And I can make some little wavy lines on there. So now I have myself a volcano. I want to think about my land. I want to have lots of different trees so I can make some little wavy lines that kind of look bushy. That could be some trees in the background. I can make it where I have several little wavy lines. So, and it does not have to be perfect, in fact, because it's all nature. So it's up to you how you make those little wavy lines. You can make them, or they're smaller. You make them like kind of cloud shape because these are kind of just going into trees. And I could have some that are like triangles. It's like an evergreen tree. I could have some that are more like little palm trees. It's up to you what kind of tree shapes you start to make. And the more trees you have, the more it looks like a forest. You can have varieties of different trees. And they're just kind of like bushy clouds. Once I have my trees, I'm going to start to create my land. So that's my horizon line where that land meets the sky. And that's just a horizontal line. And it's just kind of going underneath where my trees are. Notice the line is touching where the volcano is and where the trees. They're not flying in the air. I want to add some different grass. To add grass, I kind of go up with my line at a diagonal and bring it down. It's kind of like the letter M a little bit, or just thinking about like a zigzag line. It's just kind of random little lines that I add for some different textures that are my grass. So now I have my land. I got trees, I got a volcano, I have grass. If you want to add any flowers, you can add some flowers. So I have some different flowers on there. Then I think about my sky. So I want to think about what my sky is going to have. So I have a volcano. I can make it where it has some little smoke coming out of the volcano. There's little puffs of smoke. I could add some clouds. That's kind of like our tree shapes. I could add the sun. Or if you want to do moon and stars, you could do that as well. So So now I have my clouds and my sun. I'm gonna then start to color in, and I'm thinking about the colors of things. For example, my sun, it's going to be a yellow. So I would add a yellow right there. So I'm starting to get my smoke right here. And when I do the smoke, I'm gonna go very lightly. Because if I'm just gradually, just lightly putting it, give it a more smoke texture. It's gonna make it more like a gray than a black. I got me some smoky clouds. And then I could have my lava. So I'm getting a little bit of red. And I'm gonna add a little bit of orange. For the ground of the volcano, I'm going to add brown. And you could also vary your pressure on this, like I could go lightly and having some lighter brown, and then I can press all the way down to have some darker brown, so it gives it some texture in there. And you can also go back over it, and that will make some areas of the brown darker. Do remember, if you're making a line that's on the tip of the marker, we're coloring in on that diagonal of the marker. Now, when doing the sky, most people get this wrong. Clouds are white, sky is blue. A lot of you like to color the clouds blue and leave the sky white. It is the opposite. Sky is blue, clouds are white. So we leave the clouds white and we start to color in our blue. And I bring that blue down to where my trees are. When you're around the sun, you want to be careful how you color in your blue, because you don't want to overlap that yellow and make it green. Take your time. This isn't a race. The main thing is to color in neatly. Notice that blue goes all the way down to where the trees are. Notice I'm just leaving the clouds, the white of the paper. Right, so now I have my sky done. My clouds are white, my sky is blue, my sun's yellow. I have some gray smoke coming out of my volcano. Now I'm gonna start to work on my trees. Now, when I make my trees, I want it to have some texture. So instead of just going straight, I want to make a circular motion. This gives it more of a leaf texture. So I'm making kind of little circles going on there. As I make those circles, it gives it kind of a bushy leaf texture. If I'm making like the evergreen one, I could take maybe add some lines going around, and that could give it a texture that is going to look like a tree that has pineapples, like a Christmas tree. Where I have some tree trunks, I like to make little short, kind of broken lines to give it a tree trunk texture. This one's like a pine tree, so I'm gonna kind of make it, there's kind of like little rectangles. That gives it a little bit of a texture. And I could even take and a little bit of a line right in between there. So now I have my sky, I have my trees, and I'm working now on my horizon line where my grass is. Now I could just go straight, but I could also make some grass textures, bringing my green in that same kind of zigzag formation that I was doing. I'm getting some horizontals and I'm getting some zigzags. So it gives the grass some texture. All right, so we have our stamps. We have blue, green, brown, and red. Okay, on our dinosaur stamps, we have dinosaur with a little plate on it. We have a pterodactyl, triceratops, brontosaurus, don't know what that one's called, one with lots of other little tiny plates on it. And we have a big T-Rex footprint. So you're allowed 5 stamps. You get to come over. You'll place the stamp into the little ink. So it has ink on it. And then put a little footprint. I'm gonna have it kind of coming off the page like it's a big dinosaur just stepped on there. I'm going to get one in the sky. We don't know what color they were, so it's up to you which color you pick. I'm gonna make it a red one. You're gonna make sure you have your ink on it. You take, and you don't wanna move it around a lot. You just take and press. Okay. And then I'm going to make a brontosaurus. This one I'm gonna make brown. Make sure you have fuzzy ink on it. And I got 3 now. I'm going to give me a blue triceratops. I'm gonna put it over near the trees. And then, let's see, I got just room for one more. And might have another red one. So I got the ink on there. So now I have a red one. Once that dries, then I can go over those dinosaurs. Now, I will be calling you up to get your stamps on there as you are doing your landscape. That way you can let it dry and kind of work around it. Our icons for this project is I can create a print, I can create a landscape, I can create texture varying my pressure with my markers.